The order we're doing is Summer League.
Oh,
All right.
my fault, Daryl.
All right. Well, it happens. So, welcome everybody to the RJD Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl. By the way, we got Rodney, Justin, Zeno when he show up.
Oh wow, he's right there.
Wait, hold on. Dog. What?
What?
Well, he's on mute. So, today we got a big thing going on.
Oh,
next
hello.
team.
Sorry.
All right, so going on today, guys. Episode 2, talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. But first things first, before we get to talking about them, guys, let's talk about Summer League and who'd you guys like coming into your best standouts this year. Rod, you want to go first?
Sure. So Summer League, I didn't see too many people. There's a couple guys from San Antonio. They're really good. The squad had looked very good this year, but they aren't rookies. Looking at Wesley, what's his name?
Champagne.
Beecham, and Champagne. Those guys, being that they're not rookies the second year, they look like they've progressed a lot more than what was actually expected, and that core is young and it looks pretty good for Pop going to the next 5 years. I'm very disappointed in what I saw from Brandon Miller. It looks like he not that he wasn't ready. I think she was struggling to try to make things happen, and being that he's not gonna be in that role to just make it happen, he's not gonna be dependent on doing that. It looked like a struggle for him, but I think he'll still come in and be productive and get a lot of things, get those shots up that he needs to get up, the 3-point shooting and everything. I did like Atlanta squad. They got a couple good rookies with Lundy and I want to say his name is Muhammad Guy. But it's going to be an interesting season to see what rookie is going to actually show up and take on that mantle, or basically take it from what's his name at OKC.
Oh, you're talking about a dude who just got injured. You're talking about
Who we talking about?
Your boy from OKC, rookie last year. Well, supposed to be a rookie last year.
Chet.
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that choice. That's a really good one. Yeah, Chet was. I don't think people are talking about Chet's defense nearly enough. I think they were more wild with how mobile he was as big, which shocker in 2023, 7-footers can move like that. But I love his defense. I like those. Another dude from San Antonio that I'm really, really excited to see is that point guard.
Wesley.
Yeah, is that point guard is Wesley. So I'm right alongside with you on that one. So I got two. So I got two. I got a low key one and a high key one. So low key, Keontae George from out of Utah. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Offensively, I think he needs to develop defensively, but like offensively, I like the shot creation that he's having, and I like the way he's developing as a playmaker with those young guys. And like when it comes to Utah, I'm excited to see what they plan on doing with them because you don't have a whole lot going for yourself with Laurie Markkinen being off the board right now. You have Walker Kessler, who's going into year 2. I would imagine Colin Sexton, they're looking for a way to get him moved because I don't see him being in the future. So I think Keontae George is probably getting max opportunities as the lead guard, and I want to see how that manifests because they've had really good luck with scoring guards in the past, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Now, my high key that like I'm really loving Cam Whitmore out of Houston. Cam Whitmore, that kid can get buckets in a variety of ways. He's surprisingly more erratic defensively than I thought he would be. I thought he would be a little too lazy for my liking, but he was playing some pretty like he was basically erupting offenses a lot more than I thought he would, all the way up until the championship game where I think Cleveland was just more talented. So yeah, no, I like those two. And then if just the sidebar, if I had to give like a favorite team, you already know Detroit's there. I like the way that Asur Thompson, was it Asur? Yeah, I think it was Asur, right? Asur Thompson. I like the way that he showed out for those 2 games before he inevitably sat out, waiting for the regular season or waiting for summer camp. I think I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we have what we haven't had for a long time, which is a group of young kids that spread out across the league that truly has a chance to be able to put their print on the NBA. And we haven't had to see that for a while. It's usually in spurts, but I think this might be the time where we're going to see a heavy dosage of young stars coming up.
Yeah, I agree. A couple of the people that I did seeing was one of the Thompson brothers that's with the Rockets. I did like his game. Yeah, man. Even though he only played that one game before he twisted his ankle, I think we saw enough to say, okay, he can help Houston out. I think he's going to be a tremendous scorer for them. He's, of course, still a rookie, so he's going to have his welcome to the NBA moment. He's still going to have some issues. There's still going to be some growing pains. Also, being a Lakers fan, I got to say Max Christie, another standout I saw because we didn't see much of what he did, with the Lakers this year because of how loaded they were. But this summer league, we got to see his potential. So maybe he can get moved into going into the lineup, not the starting lineup, but at least getting some minutes off the bench. I think he can help the bench out. So we're going to see. And, I mean, that's pretty much all I saw. Brandon Miller, I wanted to see more. He developed towards the end of summer league, the beginning of summer league. He was struggling, but I will say once we got to Vegas, he started to pick his game up. So I started to see that he was finding his groove. Another thing I want to point out for summer league, and this is just for also everyone to understand. Yes, we wanted to see Victor be what we saw all on the mixtapes, but as fans of the game, as players, we all know the NBA is a different breed from playing in any league. So this is America. Like, you going against guys who are trying to be on Team USA. You're going against the highest paid pro athletes who know how to play at a professional high level. So all I gotta say is for all you fans who keep running your mouth saying that Victor's gonna be a bust, I wouldn't just come out there and say it yet. He's still a rookie. He's got time. Zeno just joined the chat. We're talking here about Summer League standouts. I don't know if you watched any of it.
I was listening the whole time. Don't worry, man.
Was there any standouts you had this Summer League?
As you said, as I told you earlier, for the most part, I don't watch Summer League because I feel like I'd rather wait to watch people in the regular season because Summer League sometimes it's not a great indicator of who's going to be great in the league, in my opinion, because they're playing against players who are also trying to get into the league compared to players that are already in the league and know how to defend, how to move around, know their positions. That is when I'm actually more intrigued in players. There's certain players that I already knew that are going to be great. I'm going to be very interested in. For example, the Spurs because of Wembanyama, the Portland fiasco because of Dame and all of that type of stuff, and the Rockets because the new coach, the certain personnel they have there. So that's why I haven't really watched the summer league. So I'm the
wrong. Can you give a player that went to the summer league, performed well, and then got into the NBA and stunk it up?
I believe Cam, what's his name? The one that went to the he went to the Hawks and
don't do that.
Why?
Don't do that. Because Cam hasn't gotten an opportunity yet.
You're talking about Cam
you
Reddish?
just asked me. Yeah, Cam Reddish. You didn't
Stop. First off, he didn't do very well. He didn't play in the summer league, by the way. So that didn't really make sense. He didn't couldn't stink anything up if he wasn't really in the game.
Fair enough. But that's my philosophy in general. If it's wrong, then fair enough. I'm not stubborn to that. I'm just not the type of person to watch the summer league, to be honest.
So going off of what you just said, you don't watch it because you're not going to see what people are going to have. But this is their first introduction. So yeah, there are players that are in there that have been in the league for a year or two that are playing. They're rookies. To see what they have against these guys and if they can elevate themselves past them, that's just the reason why we watch. To see what they can do and see that potential or maybe the plateau. Maybe it's the plateau that they're at right now. We don't know. But if you don't watch it, you wouldn't really be able to say that, Victor Wembanyama may be a bust. No.
I feel like you could still come, not to cut you off, Rodney, but I feel like you could still come to that conclusion during the regular season. No?
You'll probably get that more solidified in the regular season, but you have no idea what you're going to get.
I mean, that's the whole point of the regular season, though, to see if the summer league was just like him elevating with second year players or first year players who are trying to get into the league.
But at the same time, like although yes, the regular season is where you look at and you say, okay, this guy's for real because he's doing this against all league talent, veterans, people that have been in the league for year in, year out. But at the same time, when you go to the summer league, that's your opportunity for you to showcase the talent that you have been working on all your life as a rookie, or as a sophomore.
I do agree with that.
And it's not like they're just going up against rookies and sophomores. These guys are also going up against people that have also been in the league for years, and they just never were able to crack the NBA. And there's no shame in that because these are still all league players. You're still going up against all league possible defenders that just did not get the opportunity. All league offensive players that we're not able to crack the roster for because it was a slew of those people. So when you're going up against them, like Wembanyama playing solid defense against playing solid defense for the 2 games that he played, that wasn't just against rookies and sophomores. That was also against players that have been in the G League or in the league for years, and they just haven't gotten their opportunity.
Fair enough. When I was saying that I didn't watch it, I was meaning in like I didn't sit down and watch the whole game. I had watched certain clips of it, so I was aware of like Wembanyama not playing well in the first. It would even not playing well in the first year.
He played well defensively.
He played well defensively, but I think in the first game his shots just wasn't falling for the most part. And in the second game, you saw the ideal, the ideal way you think that Wembanyama could play, essentially being that defender that shrinks the court so well that it's really hard to get a shot off in front of him, and because of his agility and how long he is paused. And then on offense, how he's able to essentially just be great in the mid-range. Or I'm not really sure about the 3-point shooting because I don't think I've saw any clips of that.
He has not taken the 3 yet. Yeah. And I don't think
he did. He did. He got fouled. He hit a 3-pointer and got fouled. So he had a 4-point play this summer league.
I don't remember.
It was the first game. It was his like I think second bucket, but
yeah.
And then I also saw Jabari Smith Jr. and I did see from the clip watching him, he seemed more controlled. He seemed more poised. He seemed to know. He seemed to know what he was doing more on the court offensively. Like he knew somewhat how to get to his spots. His mid range became at least more like it seemed less like he was afraid to shoot it. It seemed he was more confident in himself in general. So if I would have to pick my stuff, I would say from them too. I did see a little bit of Whitmore as well. He seemed really geared to scoring. That's the only thing I have to say about him.
I think his defense might be a little bit underrated.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
He had 8 steals in that one game alone. That ain't something to just
say. And to piggyback there, Rodney, I think defensively, his claim card is going to be him being in the passing lanes, him being a roamer for the Rockets in the future. I think that could go a long way because obviously, I think we understand that Sengun isn't going to be a rim protector of all men, but if you can have Sengun in the front line being able to handle drop coverage and having Cam Whitmore roaming ready to disrupt plays, I think the Rockets could have sneakily like a top 15 defense this year.
I mean, they got some young players. It's just the question of the day is going to be for them, who's supposed to step up and be that guy?
I think
everybody else is standing there not hitting shots. Who can electrify them to make that bucket and say, let's go?
I'm not going to lie to you. I think they already have their Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green is not afraid to take those shots.
It's not about being afraid. It's not about being afraid. It's about being able to do that. And I don't think he's there just yet.
You don't think he's not going to make that jump this year?
I don't think he's that. He's not that prototypical get on my back, let me carry you to the
You're saying what I was saying. Rodney's saying what we were saying a year ago, where we were like Jalen Green's just not that guy. And I agree. I don't think Jalen Green's that guy either. I think Jalen Green, I think Kevin Porter Jr. needs to be moved because he's a worse version of Jalen Green. And I think Jalen Green needs to be put as a 6-man like later on once the Rockets realize it, because he's not that guy when it comes to leading in offense. And I don't even think he'll be as good as a Jamal Murray to pair alongside Sengun. So I think what the Rockets are going to find out is that their claim to fame is probably going to be a Sengun and Amin Thompson combo. And you having Jalen Green as a shooter, as a 3-and-D, have him hone in on his defensive, chops. And
I mean, it depends on how you want to play them as a unit, because you can do it like they did in Atlanta years ago, the highlight factory. They literally was like, we're throwing up lobs, we're throwing up threes. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, but Rodney, hindsight, if you were able to look back at the Atlanta Hawks team, wouldn't you wish that they were because I'm assuming you're talking about when it was Trae Young, John Collins, Clint Capella, and they were just throwing lobs all over the place, right?
Absolutely not. That was not called the highlight factory. Stop.
Oh, he's talking about Dominique Wilkins. He's talking about Dominique Wilkins.
I'm talking after that. First off, Dominique Wilkins is the human highlight reel.
Yeah. So what are you? Wait. So what
the highlight factory? Go ahead, Dale, because I know you know what it is.
Are you talking about the Budenholzer? Yeah.
No. What?
There was no highlight.
Go over there. There's a corner. I need you to go sit in that corner.
There was no highlight.
Talking about, man.
There was no.
He's talking about Josh.
Go ahead.
Them, right?
Thank you, sir.
He's talking about.
It was called the highlight factory. Josh Smith.
You talking about ISO?
Joe wasn't ISO at that point.
But I know that's his nickname.
Now it is. Now it's ISO Joe, but he was with Jeff Teague and Josh. Was it Josh Smith?
Josh
Smith. Yeah.
They had right before. Al Horford's probably, I think it's his
And I think
rookie year.
Paul Millsap.
No.
No,
Millsap came
Millsap was
in.
with
No,
Utah
Millsap
at
was
the
with
time.
Utah. With Utah.
Yeah,
He
he
was
came
with
in
Utah.
after that. After
who's
they ended up doing that.
who's him?
They was just throwing up lobs.
Yeah, but he's talking about with Josh Smith because like they were just
I'm
throwing
not
lobs to
I'm
Josh
not
Smith, like
completely
every
familiar with that.
play.
I'm not completely familiar with that, but do you, like, well, the only thing that I can really compare the situation that the Rockets are in to is sort of similar to OKC's situation currently.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Where you're sort of in a flux of where one player has proven that he is an elite scorer in this right, but there's other areas that he lacks. And then there's another player that he sort of is better in multiple areas. So you really have to decide which one are you going to give the keys to be the leader. And I think that's the situation that the Rockets are in, where Jalen Green has shown he can be a 20-point per game scorer. Hell, if you give him enough touches, he can be 25-point per game scorer. Like, dead serious. Jalen Green has scoring chops. The problem is Sengun has the facilitating chops, and his ceiling scoring wise, it can equal to what Jalen Green can give you alongside that superior facilitating. So it really depends on which one you're going to give the keys to and how you plan to build it. And they really need to decide that within the next 2 years before somebody start getting before contracts start having to get paid out.
Respectfully, I don't necessarily think that. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to say one thing though.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about so far about the Rockets, talking about finding somebody who's going to be that shot, the person that hits shots. It's not going to be Jalen Green. We all agree on that. I firmly believe it's going to be Thompson. I just feel like he has it in him to be have that killer instinct that when it's like, hey, we know we need to get a bucket, who's it going to be? It's not Porter Jr. Like he's a good player, but I just don't think it's him. I just think we're going to see the Rockets go from being with Sengun and Thompson to be able to play that type of style where you can run pick and rolls, give and goes, anything. You can get scoring on the inside with Sengun. You can get scoring on the outside with Thompson.
I agree.
I personally disagree. I think the way to go is probably going to be having Jalen Green as your main scorer and then having Amen Thompson be the main facilitator. And I think that you would also it would be kind of like a thing where they would have what's his name? It would have Sengun and Amen essentially taking facilitating roles in the offense. I think that the main scorer and like the head of the snake per se would have been Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green actually has the ability to become a great scorer. I'm not necessarily understanding why you guys are low on him.
No, but I just acknowledge to you that Jalen Green will be a great scorer. But outside of great scoring, facilitating, is that moving you?
I don't think his facilitator is ever going to move me.
Okay.
I don't believe that. I think it's going to
be. And then defensively, is that moving you?
No, but the thing is with him is that he has the actual like he has the intangibles. He has the actual features on it to do that. Like his body is big. Like he has the wingspan.
Yeah, so did Russell Westbrook, and we saw how that.
I mean, Russell Westbrook in his prime was actually a decent defender, except from his peak year in 2017.
Yeah, but his playmaking was far superior as well. Like if we're talking about I'm talking strictly defensively. Like defensively, having the feature, like okay, in Jalen Green's prime, he could be a solid defender, but again, it wouldn't move me because it wouldn't be championship level defense. Whereas I think Sengun in his prime, from what he's shown us, not potential, but what he's shown us since he's been in the league, he has the capability in his prime of giving out 25 points per game efficiently while also giving you championship level playmaking. That's the reason why I'm higher on Sengun than Jalen Green. It's not that I think that Jalen Green sucks. I think Jalen Green is a very good player. But in this league today, like we were talking about in last episode, you have to give, if you're going to be bad at one area, you need to be excellent at the other. And I'm sorry, in this day and age, with you just scoring, We can find a slew of players that can just score.
I don't think you would find a slew of players that are going to be able to score in a high volume efficiently. And I think Jalen Green can peak at that level. That's why
I don't think he can do it. I don't think he would ever be able to do it efficiently.
And I think he will be able to do it mainly because I think at his best, I think he'll be a good good playmaker. I wouldn't say great or elite. I'd say good playmaker. So he's able to at least somewhat playmake out of the double team. So I think his efficiency will still be great. Plus, remember saying that I said that Amen Thompson and Sengun are going to be good passes on his team. That means he's going to be able to have two playmakers on his team to also facilitate him. Meaning that not only is he gonna on ball is gonna be I feel like he's gonna be efficient. I think being fed the ball by two great playmakers, if they reach their ceiling, I think that should automatically allow him to be efficient. That's why I believe so.
So are you saying that Green can enter the level of a Luka?
No, Luka's all-time level. That's not elite. That's all-time. That's kind of different to me.
We're forgetting about one key person on the Rockets that can score that we're not talking about right now, and are we forgetting that Fred VanVleet just joined them? Like, are we forgetting that?
Is that? I don't know what we're gonna get with that. We can't go into that rate.
The thing is, we're talking about those players. We're talking about those players, but those are only contracts that are signed because the league wants you to spend. Was it 90% or 70% of your market cap?
90%.
90%
of your market value.
That is the only reason why he's on this team. Because if they didn't have that rule, they wouldn't have signed any free agents because they would just build around their.
They would just ran it back.
Exactly.
They would just ran it back. That's the same reason that they signed Dylan Brooks for the exact same reason.
I was gonna say to you, Rodney, you said something earlier which I wanted to bring up, and it was something about it wasn't Rodney. I think it was the casual. I think you said something about their defense being a top 15. I think the main reason why they might reach to that level is actually their coach in.
I agree.
Udoka. I'm so high on the Udoka. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am high on this defense.
I'm not the highest on Udoka, but I mean I do acknowledge I'm not a fool and look at the Celtics with the year prior with Brad Stevens and then look at them that year with Udoka where they made it all the way to the finals, mainly off of their defensive capability being maximized. And just think that that's just like a fluke. I think Udoka has a very good mind defensively. My only concern now is his offensive capability, which I think ultimately is going to come down to his coaching staff. I don't know who's on his coaching staff, but I don't know if he's that offensive mind to be able to come up with how to utilize this roster. Because even if you remember up in the Celtics with the Celtics. That was a very up and down season still, and even in the playoffs, although they played excellent defensively.
You mean scoring what? You mean offensively? Because
I think they played well defensively, but offensively, I did not feel like they were world beaters that year either.
I feel like I could see him actually getting better on that on the offensive end because if you remember, that was his rookie season as a coach.
That's true.
So realizing it was his rookie season as a coach, and he made the Celtics. I don't think you guys realized he made them like an all-time level defense that season.
Absolutely.
All-time
level. I don't think it's a fluke.
Yeah, and then what's called he had a year off. And he had a year off to actually really pay attention to that stuff. Of course, he had other problems in his situation, but he had a year off to actually maybe figure out some offensive schemes as well. So I genuinely believe he has a chance to. I genuinely do believe.
I mean, because even though he had that year off, he was also dealing with legal stuff with the Celtics, with them suspending him, and he had to check in periodically and stuff for him to be able to get paid and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, when it comes to head coaches, it's like sort of like Yeah, it's sort of crapshoot.
I wanted him to come to Philly. I swear to God, I wanted him to come to Philly, man.
Luckily for Philly, if it makes y'all feel better, I wanted Nick Nurse. I thought Nick Nurse could make this defense. I thought he could be because what's the main thing he preached on the Raptors?
Defense,
defense, and trying hard, and mainly rebounding. And I think Sengun's I think his rebounding skills have not even gotten tapped into. I think he the same way that Nick Nurse was able to make Boucher into a solid rebounder, even though that frail frame that he had, I think he could be able to get the same out of Sengun. I think he can get the same out of Sengun. But I mean, we got Udoka, and I think the one thing that Udoka has over Nick Nurse was his ability to adjust on the fly, and his ability to make players who otherwise would not be used as versatile defenders to make them into versatile defenders.
Okay, that I would agree with.
Yeah.
I would say what's called the fact that you said something along the lines of making adjustments. I actually disagree. I think Nick Nurse.
He made adjustments. I thought he made adjustments. I thought he made adjustments in that Heat series specifically. He made a lot of adjustments.
Who?
I thought Udoka made a lot of adjustments.
Oh no! I think not Udoka. I do agree that Udoka made adjustments. I was trying to say Nick Nurse also made adjustments. I think he's underrated. If you believe he doesn't make adjustments at least as well as Udoka or even close to, I think
I think he makes adjustments. I think he makes an adjustment, but his adjustment is about equivalent to Ty Lue. Like how people make it seem like Ty Lue is the king of he's the best head coach and it's like far and wide because of the adjustments he makes in the playoffs.
Nah, his adjustment is just going small ball.
Exactly. But in actuality, when all else fails, small ball. That's really all he does. So and with Nick Nurse, when all else fails, boxing one. That's basically all he does. That's all he does. So that didn't really move me. But I thought his 1 year, Udoka's 1 year with the Celtics, I thought the adjustments he made specifically in that Heat series, because Eric Spoelstra was pulling out all stops. He was utilizing everybody in every way to get them to that game 7. And Udoka, I think he made a move where he had, instead of having Tatum guard Jimmy Butler, which by the way, Missoula tried to steal this year. Instead of having Tatum guard Jason Tatum, he had him as the roamer and had Jaylen Brown take on that task. And then he had Marcus Smart guard him for a few. And then he even threw Robert Williams in there. The stuff that Udoka was willing to do, other people would say don't do because it could end up killing you in the series. And Udoka wasn't afraid to do it. So I give him a lot of credit for that. But again, it goes back to the offense. I question the offense. Daryl, why are you raising your hand? You're the host, nigga.
Yes, because that's to get y'all to get my attention. Yeah. All right. So we moving on to the next topic. Basically, let's get into it. I think we lost Rodney for a little bit once he comes back, but because usually this is his segment, but I'll take it over for now. So basically,
hold up.
Shoot. All right. The off season. Y'all know what this is about. We always talk about the regular season, the postseason, the finals. We talk about all the stuff that the casual fans like to come see, but no one really wants to talk about the grind of what it takes for your team to make it to the finals. And it's the off season. And today we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek god. We talking about Justin's team, the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, you're going to hell for that. You're going to hell for that.
But back to it. Yeah, let's get into it. So,
oh my God. Hey, Rodney, wasn't it beautiful? That was beautiful, wasn't it?
Rodney, did I do it right?
Zeno, so now we on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm gonna go ahead and start it off.
I'm dying.
Did
I do it? Hold on. Man. Rodney, did I do a good job?
Today is not the critique time. We on live, my boy. We cannot critique that right now, my boy. I don't even want to do it to you. You know what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna look at it right this. I'm not really sure what the Milwaukee Bucks. They're just trying to run it back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if that's enough. I've said this multiple times. Told Justin, this is guys. You need more. Grayson Allen is not a great outside shooter. He can't make his own shot. He can't get anybody else a shot. I mean, basically all he has is maybe some okay defense and questionable thought processes when he plays in the game. I don't know what to do with him. If Chris Middleton can stay healthy, Giannis stay healthy, they still have a shot at, going back to the playoffs. But
saying the playoffs,
man.
Saying the final is you need.
I said playoffs. I didn't say nothing about no finals. I ain't going nowhere near that. I said playoffs. Either way, you need more than Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis to make it back to the finals with everybody else is going out. The only thing you really did was get Malik Beasley.
I agree.
That was a good pickup for them.
I'm not saying it's not a good pickup, but I mean,
I thought it was okay. I thought it was like a Band-Aid. It doesn't really solve the problem.
It doesn't solve the problem.
They ripped the Band-Aid off of us and to y'all, so I'm happy.
That's crazy.
I don't know how that ripped the Band-Aid off of y'all, but y'all still ancient. The oldest team in the league. But I mean, you still need some help. As Drew Holiday's back, you lost Carter, so that's a backup point guard you don't have, and you replace him with AJ Green. I have no clue who that is, by the way. You're gonna have to let me know, big dog.
He ain't nobody.
Okay. Marjon Beauchamp, is that how you say it? Beauchamp?
Yeah, Beauchamp.
He looked good. I saw him a little bit in the summer league. He looked okay. He still has a long way to go to being the solution to the problem. But can he play some okay defense? Yes, probably better than Beasley and Allen. Is he a tremendous shooter? Probably not better than Beasley. You bring back Jay Crowder, which does not help anything. He too old, dog. He's just too old. I don't know what else to do with that dude. Him and PJ Tucker, y'all just old. It's a young man's league now. This is unless you LeBron.
Wait, who'd you just say?
I said PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker's not there no more.
I didn't say he was. I just said he was old.
My age.
Yeah,
talking my age.
Okay.
Relax, Rich. Relax your do-rag.
This is not even a do-rag.
I mean, Brook Lopez is old, but he does help. Bobby Portis is. I don't think Bobby Portis is enough for your bigs. Like you guys need bigs. Now you need bigs. You can't depend on Giannis to literally do every single thing for the team and never give him help other than one outside shooter. Like that's not enough in this league. I'm not confident that I would see them back in the championship. Not right now, unless they made a couple moves during the season or before season starts. You just need to make some moves. I don't know. You need to move Pat Connaughton, or you definitely need to move Grayson Allen. I'm sorry. I feel like he's the token white guy on the team, and that I don't know why I want to say that. Please sit down, sir.
Hey, little buddy.
What's up?
Didn't Pat Connaughton exist?
Sit down, sir. Thank you. Sit down. Appreciate you. Jesus Christ.
Isn't Pat Connaughton on the team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Why
Pat
did
Connaughton.
they need the token white guy then?
Pat Connaughton ain't on. He's on coming off the bench.
Because Pat Connaughton is more valuable to the Bucks than Grayson Allen is at this point. The only thing that I get pushed back on what you said is I don't think we need more bigs. I think the 3 big rotation that we have currently is between Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis. They're probably the best you're gonna get unless you plan on overextending yourself to get another big in there. That I mean, if you like we did last episode, we were talking about Philly. And why did they sign Mo Bamba? like that would be the signing that the Bucks would have to make for them to get another center in another big man in their rotation, and they will probably have to give up somebody for that.
See, but the problem with that is then one of those guys goes down. Lo and behold, it's Giannis. You're done if it's Giannis. I'm just gonna say that. But Brook Lopez goes down. Now you're just depending on Bobby Portis. It's literally the only other big you have.
That was 2021. I mean, that was 2022.
I mean, it works for a little bit, but after you get to these guys with these giant monstrosities like Embiid or Anthony Davis, Jokic, yeah, these guys are they're gonna weigh down on your one big.
Giannis is not. Porzingis not moving me in a matchup against the
Porzingis.
I didn't bring up Porzingis. You didn't hear that.
Daryl did. So.
Daryl went off camera just to say Porzingis and then got back on camera. I don't know if everybody pointed that out, but that's wild of you right there, my boy. That's wild.
That is crazy. He just got back on the mic just to say Porzingis.
My man was like Porzingis. I was like, yo, you wild for that. But I mean, your roster just doesn't wow me anymore. It did, a couple years ago when you guys went to the chip and succeeded against a Suns team that just underperformed. But now you guys are getting older, and you need to bring in some young talent to run with Giannis. It's hard to just watch Giannis run up the court and then look like four other players that still haven't made it past half court. I'm just saying.
I agree. So here's the rules that I found that the Bucks are. These are basically the situation that the Bucks are in. With me looking into it, the trade candidates that they have, that they could be able to like go for. They can't pick nobody. They can't get nobody that's over 20 million, because that will force them to have to bring in their big three: Giannis, Middleton, and Drew. And I guess now, well, no, they wouldn't even be able to trade Brook Lopez even if they wanted to, because they just re-signed him. They couldn't acquire a player if a player was already like in a trade, because their trade assets that they would give would not be better than the person that already is given. Like if they were willing to go in for that Dame trade, they couldn't even give something better than Miami, and Miami doesn't even have the best trade, the best trade assets right now. So that's really how fickle the Milwaukee Bucks roster is. So I don't think that they need to do anything with the bigs. I think Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and Giannis is the rotation that they should stick with until Brook Lopez breaks down, which he inevitably will first. But they didn't already paid him, so here you go. I thought that them re-signing Brook Lopez was the best thing that they could have done in this entire free agency, because Brook Lopez matters so much to what they do, both rim protecting and spacing the floor for Giannis to be able to do what he needs to do. I think them re-signing Chris Middleton was also because on one hand it's very good that they re-signed him, because that's team chemistry right there. That's also a player that he does hold value on the offensive end, and defensively, like here and there, he can be able to turn the clock back, but he's older. And it just is what it is. And I agree with you from that standpoint, Rodney. Like, you do, at some point, you do have to look at this roster and say, y'all are getting older. We need to start looking at ways to get the team a little more younger, because Giannis has already hit his prime, but now he's in his prime, and you need to utilize it to the best of your ability. So this is what I found. Monte Morris, out of the Washington Wizards, he got a $9.8 million contract that'll give you a player like sort of like what Javon Carter meant to the Bucks this past season. I think Monte Morris could be able to do that. Probably a little better, because he's a better shot creator. I think Javon Carter was like a solid shot creator for the minutes he was given, but I think Monte better. I think Delonte Wright defensively from Washington. I think that he could be solid, and you wouldn't have to give a lot for these players either. Alec Burks out of Detroit, only $10 million. I was surprised when I saw that. I thought Alec Burks was getting paid like a little more than that. But Alec Burks is a wing player, so that could show up your shooting guard spot. And he could be able to give you quality minutes just from a scoring standpoint. He's not the best defender. Cameron Payne, I wasn't really sold on that one, but as a backup point guard, just 2 years ago, he was like one of the better backup point guards. Surely because of his playmaking, though, because he sucks defensively. And then at first, I was going to say Brandon Clark. What if they traded for Brandon Clark, especially with him coming off this ACL injury? You would have to imagine his trade value to be like at its lowest right now. So they could probably be able to get him for like not that much. But
Rodney the camera.
That's cool. But how do y'all feel about TJ McConnell out of Indiana? Because there's been trade rumors. How do y'all feel about TJ McConnell?
Are we just looking for like trades? You're just looking for a trade.
I feel like Rodney and I are saying, thinking the same thing here. All of these trades, like, let's be honest here, they're all mid. Like, they're not changing.
They're not changing the trajectory of really anything the Bucks are already doing, because I think the Bucks are already where they're at.
I feel like the problem with the Bucks, right, which coming into the season, I think the last season, which I started to pay attention to it. Other than that, I want you to know, I want to say post that year that they won the chip, the problem with the Bucks is that they do not have a actual reliable shot creator, like a consistent shot creator. Because the problem is with Giannis is like if you would say the Shaq and he needs his Kobe. Because Giannis can put a lot of damage onto their big man, attack the rim, force free throws, constantly attack the rim and draw double teams and stuff like that from his relentless rim attacking. But he needs someone that he can give the ball to and actually get there, get a shot creation. And I'm sorry, having Chris Middleton as your shot creator is just not enough. And they got really. I'm not the type of person to usually like hate on people, teams, but they got really lucky in that year that they won the chip. They genuinely got really lucky. They need a shot creator. And I honestly disagree with you when you said that they re-signed Chris Middleton. I know that there was not much other players that they could have done there, but they genuinely needed a shot creator coming into this season because Chris Middleton is just not it anymore.
Okay, and I agree with you. Chris Middleton, and I told you.
Hold on. So I'm not mad at the Chris Middleton signing if you sign him to be just a strictly a shooter because you needed a shooter on your team.
You wouldn't do that though.
You don't want
you wouldn't do that. Like the reason why you wouldn't do that is because Chris Middleton, you've already established Chris Middleton as the shot creator of the team. So if you take him, if you take that role away, who you tagging that to?
That's why you should have gone with somebody else to get some other players in here. Yes, Grayson Allen's on his last contract. This is his last year possibly with y'all. You shouldn't have brought back Crowder. It didn't make any sense for me.
Yes.
Bringing in Malik Beasley does help you in having an extra shooter on that court. Yeah, you need to have somebody to be able to create, but you could have probably got somebody to go create. I mean,
fake shooter.
You know who they possibly? I think personally they should have went for.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they should have went for Jordan Poole. I think that would have been. He's a great shot creator. Don't look at me like that.
He is not great. You're overrated.
He's a better shot creator.
Look, relax, bro. Relax,
bro. No, you don't believe that he's a good shot creator.
Do you remember when we were earlier this season when we were talking about the Golden State Warriors, and I sat there and I told you and Rodney, no, you turn on the mic, you turn on the camera when you talking to me. You turn on the camera when you talking to me. Now I talked to you and Rodney, and I told y'all that Jordan Poole was those are fake numbers. The only reason why he was producing that much was because of Steph, and he wasn't even doing Steph right. Like he was putting up awful efficient numbers. Like there was like 27 points on like 40% from the field and like 28% from the 3-point line. But he was chucking up shit. Like he wasn't doing nothing crazy. And then on his playmaking, have you seen a player in the last 10 years that have averaged far more turnovers than they do assists and their main ball handler for the team?
I actually seen Bradley Beal do a lot of turnovers this season than assists.
He didn't turn over the ball more than he got assists.
No, you might want to check again.
I'm looking at the season. It's 4.5 assists to 3.1 turnovers, but yeah, it's close.
No. For the time that he was without Steph.
Oh, okay. I feel.
For the time that he was without Steph, Daryl was sitting there saying,
okay, we're talking about
Jordan Poole was playing very, very well. That he was playing very, very well offensively. He was showing his capabilities.
With Steph, he was. Without Steph, he could. We already saw. Without Steph, his rookie year, he couldn't do anything. We saw.
Okay. So then, if you saw that, and then you actually watched him,
but that was his rookie year. We're talking here.
He would not be a shot creator. All right, first of all.
Anyways, we staying on the Bucks. We going off topic. Back to the Bucks.
I'm saying I was going back to the Bucks. If you put Jordan Poole on that team and you make him the shot creator, they're worse efficiently. Because at least in the case of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they know they're not those 3-point shooters. Jordan Poole actually thinks he's one of those. So he's going to be chucking up worse shots, and it won't even give the defense a chance to be able to get back. See, the point that I was about to get to was the thing with the Bucks that I'm giving you these trades that they can make so that they can make the roster a tad bit better. But I don't think they really need to do anything to this roster because this roster is already championship caliber. They had to get rid of that head coach. The problem was Bud Budenholzer. Yeah. He was so bad defensively and offensively. He wasn't utilizing Giannis the right way, and yet that team, as a talent, was still collectively able to keep you in games because Giannis is the best in the world. Drew Holiday is a great quality defender, and Chris Middleton he's whatever at this point. So they were getting you in these close games, and Bud always consistently, routinely getting you put into tough positions, like in round 1 against Miami Heat this past season. How many times did they have the lead going into like 2 minutes into the fourth quarter? 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And Eric Spoelstra throws out a simple full court press. And Budenholzer did not make not one adjustment at all. Did not call any timeouts. Did not do any of that. He just let the game play. So when they lost, people were sitting here blaming Giannis and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton like they were the ones that needed to make the adjustments. Like they're on the court. That's my problem with the Bucks. Their head coaching, their head coaching decision. But they let him go, and then they bring in this random dude. Did any of y'all know this dude's history?
Wait, what the coach's name?
I can give you the name right now. All I can say right now is he's a black guy, but I'm trying to.
Swear to God, you ain't got no competition.
Try not to be racist. Adrian Griffin. That's the Milwaukee Bucks head coach.
I believe he
was an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors.
Oh yes, that's.
But if you're gonna bring in Adrian Griffin,
might as well bring in
Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Like, what sense did that make? So I'm looking at this roster, and again, Drew Holiday is still an elite defender. He has not shown any signs of stopping that. Right? Yeah. Offensively, we know what he cannot do, and as a playmaker, he's a solid playmaker. He's a solid playmaker, which is really all that you need.
Solid to good, yeah.
Yeah, solid to good. Chris Middleton is a year older. I think we all agree he's not the defender he once was, and he damn sure isn't the shot creator he was just 2 years ago, right? I think Giannis is still in his prime, so that's a good thing. I think Brook Lopez is still a solid rim protector, but I think this year is probably where he slows down on being able to stay with the offense.
I want to say, can I say a few things here?
Go ahead.
I think one thing that I think you're downplaying Brook Lopez's defense this year. I think last year, I think that was one of his best defensive seasons with the Bucks.
Mhm.
I think the issue with trying to get different bigs. I wanted to talk about this with Rodney. Is that with Giannis, you need spacing.
Mhm.
So when you're looking for bigs for Giannis, you need a spacing big who can also play, like who could actually protect the rim. And that's actually kind of rare in the sense that you have a few of them. Like you have Miles Turner, you have Mo Bamba, you have Brook Lopez, Serge Ibaka, and then you really don't have many others that really space the floor and protect the rim. Like there's not much like that. And if you decide to go for a traditional big, you're then now causing the paint to be plugged up for Giannis, and the 3-point shooters aren't locked down. The 3-point shooters, so it's not like so you're now making even the lanes even more clogged up for him. That's the problem with the Bucks. The Bucks their system is essentially 4 out with Giannis attacking the paint, but the shooters that they have on that team aren't consistently knocking down their threes, and that's why sometimes they tend to fall in an lull, because Giannis will try to attack the rim and then kick it out to the shooter, and then the shooter just won't make his three. That's the issue with their offense. And when it gets into the half court and you're asking someone to shot create, Chris Middleton may have been able to do that 2 seasons ago and made it somewhat consistently, but he's not that player anymore. So they need a shot creator, which is why I brought that up. Or they need Giannis to get a what's called a back to the basket game, post game, something like that, where he can actually play in the post and generate his own offense from that stage. Because I do believe if he gets into the post, Giannis already has the playmaking ability, so I don't believe that's the issue. I think the issue is he needs post moves, and I wanted to bring up the fact that Giannis also regressed this year. He regressed. Exactly. His mid-range fell off a cliff. His 3-point shooting fell off a cliff. He cannot hit a shot. He cannot hit a shot. Yeah, if you told him to take a shot outside of a boat and hit it into the water, he couldn't do it.
And quiet as kept, he slowed down just a slight bit.
Yeah, so his shooting was horrible this year, and he could only attack the rim. So unless Giannis now regains his form 2 years ago, and he's also able to be a post game. I'm being honest with you. I don't see unless you guys get that great defensively to becoming one of the most stingiest defenses we've ever seen. I just don't see it.
I still think that they'll be just because of the talent alone, there'll be a top 5 defensive unit still. And that's even with considering this head coach, Adrian Griffin, I do not know about. He's 49 years old, by the way, one of the youngest coaches. By the way, Rodney, did you know his son, AJ Griffin, is in the league as well? He plays for.
I didn't know that was his son, but I've seen that name a couple times, and I was like, I didn't know who it was. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
he's in Atlanta.
I still don't know who the dude is. I just want to point that out.
Well, I mean,
Agent Griffin played. I think he's in his second year last year. I think he had this rookie season 2 years ago.
Oh, that's funny.
I do remember that because they were saying that AJ Griffin had a good rookie season.
Look, Rodney's saying he ain't gonna make an impact on my team. So
is he gonna get on the court? I don't know.
Yeah, he ain't making no impact on my team. So
I don't know if he's gonna get on the court.
But there's one thing I wanted to say to you, Zeno, about Brook Lopez's defense. I think Brook Lopez did indeed. I agree with you. I think he put forth one of his best defensive seasons we've ever seen from him. Probably the best. But that was from a rim protecting stand. I think he took a step back offensively though.
Yeah, I agree.
He's regressing. With his age, all his offense is going away.
Exactly.
And this is going to continue to happen. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly.
I don't disagree with you, ZX. I don't disagree with the fact that yes, they need a playmaker, but they also need shooters. Yes, I agree that the way they play their offense is that they need a big who can space the floor.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything like they didn't need that. I just said they need more bigs. That's all I said. Now, the
it's
particular
because you
type of
said
big that they
I didn't know
need,
what you
you're
meant.
right. That is what they need as the
Okay.
big to help them in their system. I didn't specify what big it was. I
Yeah.
just said they need another big
That
because
was my fault.
3 is not enough. Because as soon as one goes down, now you're just depending on one. And like I said, Giannis cannot do this by himself.
He actually did do it by himself, though.
He can't no more. He
He
cannot
can't keep
do
doing
it
it. He can't
any
keep doing it.
fucking more. I don't care. I don't care how much grit grind you have in your body. You cannot do this without another star next to you. It is now a proven fact that if you don't have at least 2 stars on your team, you're not gonna be going very far.
They only got 1 star, so like that, there's that. So you know what I'm saying? Like the Bucks they only got 1 star anyway. They surrounded him with a whole bunch of.
I'll be dead honest with you. I kind of disagree with Rodney in the sense that you need 2 stars. I just think that this star has such clear flaws in his game that you have to have certain things around him. Giannis's inability to shot create or create his own shot in the half court is such a huge problem. You need a shot creator. That's why I keep saying that. So in that sense, I agree with Rodney. But having a second,
how much of a head scratcher was it when you found out that Bradley Beal got traded to the Phoenix Suns rather than the Milwaukee Bucks?
Honestly, didn't care.
yeah, that was kind of now that you sit down there, that is kind of crazy. But the thing is, right, in that situation, he had a no trades clause, so it's up to him. Like, what kind of?
So you're telling me if you tell Bradley Beal that he can come to the Milwaukee Bucks, and
You don't even need to play great defense.
The pieces that Phoenix Suns gave, the Milwaukee Bucks only had to give up Chris Middleton. I thought that would have been. I thought that the Washington Wizards were going to laugh at that, but they end up taking basically that trade, a worse version of that trade from Phoenix anyway. So then, if Milwaukee would have been able to get a third team involved and give you Middleton and a whole bunch of picks, I don't see how Bradley Beal would have said no to playing alongside Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Brook Lopez.
I don't think
the Bucks gave that. I don't think the Bucks even thought of giving an offer.
That could be true, but I'm thinking of a team with Bradley Beal and Drew Holiday as your backcourt, and then having, I don't know what small forward you're gonna put there, but you're gonna have Drew Holiday and Giannis and Brook Lopez at a front court, and then having whatever small forward, whether it's Pat Connaughton or anything like that. I think that's such a great. I think that solves your issue because Bradley Beal is actually a good to great playmaker. So you don't lose out on much. I think he's a good.
I wouldn't go.
I think in this situation, because I think that what you guys are also forgetting is this, it's the spacing and the issue. What's called the team that he was on, and on the Wizards. So I feel like with a team that you have such a presence on the floor with Giannis, then also being able to like pass it out to shooters. Granted, you don't have the greatest shooters like KP, or I think what's his name, Corey Kispert.
Yeah,
So you don't have those like knock down 3-point shooters, but the fact that you have 3-point shooters to pass it out to, and you have Giannis on your team as well, so you're gonna have people watching out for Giannis trying to barrel in, and then you also need to remember Bradley Beal is actually a decent 3-point shooter. He's a great.
He's a good shot creator. Period. Like he's a great shot creator, which is why I love. If he would have came to the Bucks, I felt like that would have made them title favorites at that point because it fills the gap in which you're void of. Because I even like subtract Bud from the factor. Their offense was mad inconsistent, but their defense was excellent. So if you bring in Bradley Beal, that's a 23 point per game scorer, even on a bad year. that could be able to give you quality buckets. And it pushes you over the top. Because even with the teams that they lose to, the teams like the Celtics, possibly Philly, these are teams that they can hold their own against and have close games all day long. But at the end of the day, it's hit or miss with the offense. So if you bring in Bradley Beal, and you didn't really lose much because Middleton is not the defender that he once was, and yet they were still able to be a top defense, then you're basically upgrading your offense severely, and that turns you guys into a juggernaut at that point. That's my logic.
I'm gonna say Bradley Beal is a better version of Middleton. As far as shooting, the shot creating,
yes.
He's a better shooter. Don't do that.
I don't know, but
Middleton is okay. But like I said, let me go back to that comment that you add Bill here. You the title favorite. Stop it. Stop it right now.
How so?
Stop it right now.
How so? Who would be better?
Well, let's go ahead and go with Boston's still better.
I hope you don't say Philly. I hope you don't say Philly.
I would never say Philly in my life.
Good.
I never think Philly's a title contender at all. I don't care what they do. They can put LeBron on the team. I'm like, they're still not title favorites. I don't care.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
LeBron with our team is kind of like Aaron.
The defending champions, really? You still you forgetting those dudes over there?
You talking about Miami?
The defending champions? Did Miami win?
Oh my!
I'm sorry, I don't remember if Miami won. Did Miami win that?
No, I thought he was talking about Eastern Conference Finals champions. I thought he was talking about.
No, I said the champions, defending champions. That's what I said. I don't know how you even got Eastern in this conversation.
I think if Milwaukee would have went up against Denver this year, I think they probably could have beat them. So that's that.
I kind of disagree because you then also need to put the Bud tax. So.
Bud tax. Got you. Okay. If they switch out with this new coach, assuming he's competent, I think talent wise they could have beat the Nuggets, because the main thing that the Nuggets were able to do against teams they wouldn't be able to do against Milwaukee, because they have the requisite bigs to be able to at the very least contain Jokic. And then you would basically leave it up to Jamal Murray to score on Drew Holiday. And Rodney, you going up on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you're a fool if you're doing
I don't know if you heard me. I told it all the playoffs. He is Timothy McGee. Stop playing with that boy. Timothy McGee is doing them.
Well, let me give you.
Don't let him get on fire, because he's gonna put another one on your head. Stop playing with that man like that.
Let me give you a little fun fact about Jamal Murray. Zena, you correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever Jamal Murray was doing this entire playoff, so it was Phoenix with their incompetent defense. Who else? The Timberwolves with their good defense but bad offense. All of these teams. Do you want to know why they were able to get a game on the Nuggets? It was because Jamal Murray, whenever you put pressure on him and made him into a playmaker instead of Jokic, he wasn't able to do it. And his shot creation is merely based on if he's able to hit his shots consistently in that game while being heavily contested. He does not get it.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah, he does
Jamal
not get
Murray is one of the leagues. Like, he's quietly, for some reason, no one talks about it that much unless you really talk to the board members. He's quietly like heavily contested shooter. He loves those heavily contested shots. I don't know why. And I want you to know
because since the
three-point shot is
since the ACL injury, that's the best shot he can get. He can't create creation like he get could in 2020. And quiet as kept in 2020, he was still taking those same shots. So
that's where you're at, right? So you went with those two. So Jokic and Giannis cut themselves out. Cool, got it. They equal each other out. Fine.
No, they don't equal each other out, Rodney.
Hold on. Before we get there,
I didn't go there yet. You going there? I'm not going there yet. I'm still talking about a whole team right now.
No.
I'm not going there yet. Don't put it up there yet.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not going there.
Don't put it. I'm not going there. I just said they equal each other out. He's trying to go there. I'm not going there yet.
I'm not trying to go there. I just was going to.
I'm gonna continue on with what I was saying. Is that the supporting cast around those two players with Jokic and Jamal Murray are better than the one that's the supporting cast around Giannis.
Offensively, but defensively, they would have no answer for what the Bucks do. That's the problem. Defensively, the Bucks would be put it in simpler terms. Defensively, the Bucks would be able to stop the Nuggets from doing what they want to do, but the Nuggets cannot stop the Bucks from doing what they want to do.
I just don't think that it's that simple.
I mean, I put it in.
This is a 7-game series.
Going into deep detail, Aaron wants to save the last topic, so that's why
I'm not even talking about that. If that's where you're going with that, we going with the team. We're not going there.
No, but I'm
talking about the team.
Hey, like I said, the Nuggets cannot defensively stop the Bucks from doing what they want to do, whereas the Bucks have the personnel to stop the Nuggets from what they want to do.
I don't think they have enough personnel to stop them.
So Drew Holiday, Giannis.
So Drew Holiday is going to have to either guard Jamal Murray or, as we saw, Bruce Brown, who went off.
Never mind, he's guarding Jamal Murray, bro. He's guarding Jamal Murray.
So
I don't know why you
then you leave KCP guarded by fucking Grayson Allen. Stop playing with me right now.
No, KCP would be guarded by Chris Middleton.
Then who's guarding Michael Porter Jr.?
Wait, no, you brought up Bruce Brown because he's a 6-man. No, Grayson Allen will be guarding KCP. Michael Porter Jr. will be guarded by Chris Middleton. Giannis will be guarded by Aaron Gordon. Brook Lopez would be the front man to guard Jokic, while Giannis would be roaming. Because Aaron Gordon is not the 3-point shooter that I'm assuming you think he is. He's not.
You're not just gonna leave him open in a corner like that.
He's a hell of an alley-oop catcher, and sitting in a dunker spot, he's great at that. And even hitting the mid-range, he was actually solid this year. And I think it was a couple games where he was able to get hot, creating his own shot. But the Bucks are betting on that. They are betting on y'all doing that. And
if you bet on that, you lose. Look at Miami; they bet on that and they lost. The fuck are we talking about?
No.
You weren't expecting that motherfucker to go off in any game.
No. Jokic was able to get what he wanted. Jamal Murray was able to get what he wanted. KCP was even able to get what he wanted, and Aaron Gordon damn sure was able to get what he wanted. The Nuggets got what they wanted against basically everybody they faced.
The reason why KCP got what he wanted was because Bruce Brown put too much pressure on him going towards the fucking rim.
Who?
And Bruce Brown.
And there was no rim protector to be able to hold him accountable, right? So if you have the Bucks with Brook Lopez and Giannis there, where do you see him being able to get his shit off?
He's going to be able to be a creator and have an open player because Giannis has to come off to protect the basket. You ain't gonna just leave it. You leaving open men open in the NBA. That's what we're doing.
So again, if you leave,
it's not like it's Westbrook.
Again, if you leave Aaron Gordon open, and Aaron Gordon is at the 3-point spot, right? Because Giannis is long enough to where he can be able to cover ground between the free throw line all the way to the mid-range corner side on both ends. He has that much ground that he can cover because he's that tall. So then Aaron Gordon, you're basically saying that Aaron Gordon will be at the 3-point line. So if you're saying he'll be at the 3-point line, I'm telling you, Aaron Gordon shooting threes, we will live with
that.
Okay, you live with it and you doing just like Miami. Bye. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna leave a player open like that in the NBA.
I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know what it is with Aaron Gordon. Do you believe Aaron Gordon is a consistent 3-point shooter?
Yeah, right.
I think he is an adequate 3-point shooter, but we're not going to consider. You're not going to. I did answer your question.
No, anyway. You said he's an adequate. You didn't ask my question. My question was a yes or no. It was asking if you.
I'm sorry. First off, you asked a question. I answered your question.
You said you believe he's an adequate. So then
I think he's adequate.
Okay, so
which is above average of all most NBA players. He is not Westbrook. Okay, you're not gonna. It's different if Westbrook is open. We obviously just turn the fuck around if Westbrook is shooting.
Okay, cool. Then Rodney, if you think that he's an above average, like above league average shooter, then you're wrong because that's not Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is not an above average 3-point shooter. He is
Okay.
a below average to average 3-point shooter. So again, if you are basically shutting the lane down for people like Bruce Brown, for people like KCP, or Aaron Gordon to be able to get to the rim, you're forcing them into shooters. Which KCP, I'm with you. Michael Porter Jr., I'm with you. Jamal Murray, I'm with you. Don't leave them open. Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown will live with them shooting threes.
I actually want to to add on to the Aaron Gordon stuff. The fact is, I think you also need to remember the fact that he wasn't shooting like great with probably one of the best playmakers we've ever seen in Jokic. Couldn't make him a great 3-point shooter. I think that should clearly tell you how good of a 3-point shooter is.
So again, like I'm
that
not
doesn't tell you anything. That tells you that when they went to double team, it wasn't his man that double teamed him. It was the wrong player. That's what that means. So Jokic passed to the open man. The open man happened to be KCP or Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. coming off of a screen, by the way. Wasn't just standing there shooting threes like that.
They were.
All right. So
Michael Porter Jr. was not standing there just shooting threes. Stop that. He came off the screens. I've said this multiple times to you. He gets his 3-point shots off of coming off screens.
Okay.
All right. So hold them thoughts there. Final thoughts for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. Rodney, go first.
I got them with the roster they got right now. Second round exit.
Second round exit. Justin.
I got the Bucks making the finals.
Zeno.
I think they're at most I think at most they're like an Eastern Conference Finals team. That's without knowing who how good their coach is. With their coach, it could be that they're a finals team, but if they're not, well, yeah, I don't know.
Me being a Buck, thinking best case scenario. So that I'm thinking that if he's a competent head coach, and if he's a competent head coach, then we can make the NBA Finals. I think we have the talent to do so. But worst case scenario, I think we end up in the same place we were this year.
And I will go along and say I think y'all will be in the same place y'all were this past season.
Daryl, you hating bastard. You hating bastard.
Damn.
But moving on. Moving on.
That's terrible.
Moving on. So for all those of y'all who are tuned in or not tuned in, they're going to watch on YouTube later. Versus new thing we got going on where we take players, a one-on-one battle of who is the better at that position, playmaking, shooting. We go through all of it. Tonight, we got Giannis versus Jokic. Now, we've heard the previews. We got about 45 minutes and we're going to discuss about who's the better player between those two. So, Zeno, let's start off with you. Between Jokic and Giannis, who do you have?
I think it's Jokic.
Okay.
Do you want to explain it, or do you just
elaborate?
Just go into detail, explain why you feel like he is better than Giannis.
Okay. So can I just firstly detail both of their weaknesses? So Giannis's weaknesses is the fact that, especially this year, he regressed as a 3-point shooter. He also, for some reason, took, if I'm correct, I'm just going to check while I say this, he took more shots from 3 this year while shooting worse. No, he took less shots. Okay, cool, never mind. But he still did regress as a 3-point shooter. His mid-range regressed. He couldn't hit anything outside of hit any shots outside of the paint. Even I want to say even at the rim, he shot worse than he usually does as well. So at that point, the issues in his game already is that he's not a consistent mid-range shooter. He's not a consistent 3-point shooter. He doesn't have a post game. That's one thing I wanted to say. He doesn't have any comfortable moves he can go into the post, whether it's a hook, a post fade, a jump hook. He doesn't have anything in the post. He's just mainly attacking the rim. And so his main weakness is that he has no shot creation ability. Um, Jokic Jokic's main issue is that he doesn't have anything great he can do on the defensive end. He's not mobile, but he's willing to get to the hedge to the man on the P&R. He's willing to drop back. He's willing to play up on the perimeter, although he will get blown by. He's willing to actually move. So it's not like he's an immobile big who only sits in the paint. He actually is willing to move. It's just that he's not a rim protector because he can't get up and put his hand up. He's more willing to swipe down at balls and stuff like that. And another thing I do think is kind
Pause.
Yeah, pause. One other thing I do underrate about Jokic is that he knows sometimes he can't get the ball without fouling, so he's actually willing to just allow the point to be made. That's good because of the fact that it doesn't make him be in foul trouble because he's so much needed on offense. So that leads on to what I think of him on offense. I think Jokic in the right now is probably the best offensive player in the league. I think bar none at this point because to me, he's probably one of the best scorers in the league while being the best playmaker in the league. I think it's kind of obvious and it's been well documented at this point. You cannot send a double team to Jokic right now. Watching the Nuggets, you can see that with Jokic on the court, their 3-point shooters become even more lethal. And then when Jokic comes off the court, they become like they're great, but they're not lethal. I think Jokic, the offense run around Jokic, it doesn't look as great as it could be, but that's because their system is more to do with flexibility rather than shoehorning a great all-time great offense. That's why it's not at that stage. So to me, if I want to summarize it, Jokic's offense, scoring wise, only really being dented by Anthony Davis, and even then, it wasn't really dented per se. It was just that he lowered it worse compared to everyone else he played against. And then his all-time great playmaking makes him probably one of the greatest offensive engines we've ever seen, compared to Giannis, who's regressed mid-range, regressed 3-point shot. He has no post moves, and his only thing scoring-wise is that he can attack the rim really well, and I'm not even going to deny it. It is one of the greatest rim attacks that we've ever seen. And also that his playmaking is great, but nowhere near to the levels to Jokic.
Ronnie, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I like I said earlier, I think they equal each other out. Giannis's offense is tremendous. He does so much offensively, but he lacks so much defensively. Yeah, he does get in there and rebound. No doubt about that. But he's not shutting down anybody or slowing down many players. As you saw, AD still went off. He's not mobile, which is fine for him in the way they run their offense and their defense. But Giannis defensively is literally everything for the Milwaukee Bucks. And that's why I feel like they kind of equal each other out. Because they're both tremendous on one side of the floor. If one can be a little bit better, then I think one will take over a little bit more. But as far as I look at it, yeah, I agree. Giannis did take a dip. He took a dip in a lot of numbers. And I feel like he was just trying to do more than what he would normally do. And like I said, he needs more help. And if he don't get it, he's going to continue looking like this. Yeah, he averaged a little bit more, 31 points. But it's just not what we're used to when we look at Giannis. It's not explosive. We were hoping his 3-point shot would get a little bit better, maybe a little quicker. He's still working on it, I guess, I hope. And he's not a tremendous facilitator. It's more of a drive in, I'm lost, kick out. I didn't make it all the way in. He does need to continue developing his post moves, which is what he did when he first started. He had a great post, some post ups, post moves were tremendous, but now that's gone down, and it's basically he's a downhill runner, and that doesn't bode well to be one of the players considered to be the best in the world. But I can't put one over the other because offense and defense, they both play a tremendous part in the basketball world, and they're kind of equal.
Okay.
Waiting for Statman here. Statman.
Okay. So I did a lot of listening. I didn't want to cut anybody off because you guys both made great points. I think Rodney, I completely agree with you. I think offense and defense definitely have immense value in this league. There's no debating that. I think it comes down to what matters most to you, offense or defense. And for me, it's defense. I think the defense, on the defensive end, the more versatile you are, the more impactful you are. I think playmaking, as valuable as it is, and we are talking about one of the creeping on top 5 low key greatest playmakers we've ever seen in Jokic. I think that definitely holds a lot of value, especially if this postseason run, the way he was able to tear teams apart that tried to throw different schemes at him. And granted, they didn't have the personnel to be able to run those schemes, but they were trying to throw everything at him, and he was basically shutting everything down. So I made this little list, right? So the main things we've been talking about: scoring, rebounding, defensive impact, playmaking impact, finishing, right? I put Giannis from a scoring standpoint, and I'm doing from 1 out of 10, 0 out of 10. I put Giannis as a 7.5 scoring wise. I think finishing, the impact he's able to put forth, I think it should not be debatable. I think we know he's one of the greatest finishers, honestly, we've ever seen. But outside of that, to your point, Zeno, he's not a good mid-range shooter. He shoots that a lot. He's not a good three-point shooter, even though he has ramped up the attempts. And granted, to keep the defense honest, he's not a good three-point shooter, and he's not a good mid-range shooter. And I disagree with you. I think his post game is okay, but yeah, I agree from the standpoint of at this point in his career, he should be far more polished in that sense. And I think in the coming years, I think that will be the case because, like I said earlier, he's slowing down. I noticed this year he's slowed down on how many fast breaks he was able to get off. He was mainly dealing with defenses straight head on in a half court set. And I think now is the time where those rim runs are starting to wear on the body, and he's going to have to slow down. And I think very soon, around the time Brook Lopez is going to slow down on his defensive impact, they put Giannis at the center spot as a rim protector. And I think that'll happen probably within the next 3 to 4 years.
I think
on Jokic's end, I think I give him an 8.5 scoring wise. I think he is not the finisher that Giannis is, but he is a far greater mid-range shooter, a far greater three-point shooter, and a far greater post scorer. I really wanted to give him a 9. The reason why I didn't give him a 9 is because I think mobility should be taken into account when it comes to scoring. And so the fact that he mainly, when it comes to bigs, I don't think bigs can ever possibly be a 10 scoring wise.
Shaq?
I don't think that's a 10. I think that's a 9.5 in his peak.
What? Wait, what? Yeah. I know this is a little bit aside tangent.
I know.
Top 10 scorers. Where is he?
I think efficiency needs to be taken into account. And from that standpoint, Jokic is one of the most efficient scorers we've ever seen. And that's all over the court.
Yeah.
But again, mobility is where I come out when I give players 10s. Like Steph at his peak, I think is a 10. KD at his peak, I think is a 10. Kobe, 10. Jordan, 10. Hell, even LeBron, 10. those are mobile players that's getting theirs, within the offense of them creating and stuff like that. I think that's really where I'm coming from. And I think if this was last year, the year prior, I think Jokic would get a 9. Like undebate, like a 9.5, like undebatably. I think he was efficient and he was scoring all over the place, and he didn't have anybody to help assist him in, being able to do what he wanted to do. And yet he was still able to give you quality numbers while still being like all league efficient, right?
My question to you is, I have a question to you. So if you could tell last season, I know you talk about the year before Jamal Murray. If you could tell without Jamal Murray or MPJ, that he could be that efficient while upping up his scoring aggression, right?
What would be the change now? That's the question.
I was gonna say, why would you change it now that he had more help? And he became even like at this point in the regular season, he was shooting historically great. So
again, last year he was able to do that while shooting all league. This year he was able to do that and shooting all worldly. Like we're touching historic bounds to where we're comparing him to 2016 Stephen Curry. That's how elite he was this year.
He was actually more efficient than Steph Curry.
Yeah, he was definitely more efficiently. But because he had the help, that's why I look at that as an anomaly. Because I don't think that was truly him. I think he is a way better 3-point shooter. But I don't think he's going to be able to get that efficient of a clip off if he didn't have Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. back.
He only shot 40% from 3.
I think the more I'm talking about it, I think I'm understanding from the standpoint of he didn't drop off from a talent perspective. He just dropped off a statistical.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say to you. I'm respectfully trying to say to you that I feel like taxing players for having great teammates is so insane to me, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
I can get that. I might have to rethink that. But even still, like, do you think that even what he was able to do in his second MVP season, do you think that his 3-point shooting is that elite?
I think this year his 3-point shooting, especially in the postseason, was mainly open threes. So I do agree with that. But I think in the regular season, I wouldn't say it's mainly. I'd say it's mainly open threes, yes. But I also would say everything in this season, the post moves, especially one thing I think you underrated is Jokic's like touch around the rim. Jokic has probably one of the greatest touches we've seen. Like if
I agree with that. That's why I put him. That's why I gave him credit for his finishing. I just don't think it's Giannis's level. I think Giannis is like top 3.
I think Jokic is creeping into the conversation of top 20, top 50, top 10. I think he's creeping up into the because if you watch, like, I don't get it how you can watch Jokic and see him flip up some of these shots that you think, how are you getting them in?
How are you even making?
He's getting double teamed and he's somehow flipping it over his shoulder and it doesn't touch rim at all. Like, I'm a Philly fan, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm a Philly fan. I shouldn't be liking Jokic. And some of the stuff I see this guy make, I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
I genuinely believe.
Part of me, I want to budge for the 9, maybe 9.5, but I just I think it's the mobility. It's the way that you're getting. It's not the way, the degree of difficulty in which you're getting your shots off. I think when it comes to Steph, even this season, I think Steph was a 9.5 when it comes to scoring. I think Devin Booker, quiet as kept, is creeping on a 9 this year.
You don't think Jokic was, especially in the first season?
Because again, the degree of difficulty, like Devin Booker was dribbling around multiple screens, shooting tough fadeaways, taking on like some of the best perimeter defenders that we can speak of, the Drew Holidays, the Herb Jones, and he was getting his shots off effortlessly.
I'm sorry to say this, but Jokic is going against AD, who is, I think.
After AD,
I think everybody can speak about this. AD
after
is
AD,
the
then
best
who?
defender in the league.
After AD, then who?
He got guarded against Gobert and Cat. He got guarded against.
Ew.
I know. Saying that is not.
As soon as you said Cat, you ruined that whole conversation. I just want to point that out.
Alive with that.
You ruined it. You ruined it when you said Cat. If you would have stayed with Gobert, we would have probably gave it to you.
He's a good defender. He's a good to great. Actually, he's the elite defender himself.
Rudy Gobert. I'm with you with Rudy Gobert.
Is high, but I also do believe he's been guarded by centers. It was called centers as well, and I still believe the fact that he's been guarded by the best defender in the league needs to speak about something.
And that's why he's after Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Right? After Anthony Davis.
Yes.
I will give you Rudy Gobert, maybe. But Rudy Gobert's flaw is once you bring him out to the perimeter, which Jokic did, you started to see that Rudy Gobert could not be able to stay with him. He was much quicker. He was able to get to the rim through triple threat very easily, to be honest with you. And even when having Cat there, which is laughable that you said his name.
I know you said the size of
but his size still don't matter in that conversation.
His size still is not a thing. And what's crazy is, Zeno, you're nasty for that because we've talked enough basketball. You know that just because you're tall doesn't mean you're ususeful.
I agree with that. But
you know that. So the fact that you brought Cat up is nasty work.
That is nasty work. I'll ever deny it. But that's what I'm trying to explain to you, that you saying the degree of difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
I get it with Steph because Steph is a smaller player trying to attack the rim against AD or attacking the rim against because even I use Steph like in the postseason, who is he really being guarded against? Which you could sit there and say, okay, other than AD, I'm saying when he's trying to attack the rim, who are you really saying? Okay, he's been guarded by like a all defensive caliber defender in the postseason. Think about it.
I mean, okay, quiet as kept. I know nobody want to talk about it. Sacramento's playing some really good ass defense this postseason.
Oh, sorry, I was called Davion Mitchell. I forgot about him. Davion Mitchell was playing really good defense.
Really good defense. The unit, Darren Fox was playing some solid defense.
They played solid defense here.
Yeah, he played solid. He was playing some solid defense. Like they were, but the Sacramento Kings were playing above and beyond what people thought they were going to. People thought that they were basically just going to like outscore the Warriors. And they were in a lot of dogfights, defensively. Like Draymond was really having to get in his bag as a defensive genius. Which quiet as kept, he's entering my top 5 defensive. But that's neither here nor there. No, I get, again, when it comes to Jokic and his scoring, I give you the touch. I give you the mid-range 3-point shooting. I think it all is elite. But when I'm thinking of like all-time great scorers, like, do you know how hard it is for you to creep into top 10? Like Kareem, like for you to get into my 10s is difficult enough. For you to get into like 9.5, like I guess that degree of difficulty is what I'm mainly leaning on when it comes to Jokic. I may budge and give Jokic a 9 because I acknowledge that his talent did not drop off from 2020 season to 2023. I don't think it dropped off. So I may budge and give it a 9, but that degree of difficulty is really, really on my mind when it comes to Jokic. And really Giannis, because even if Giannis, let's say Giannis did what he did in 2022 and he gave you solid 3-point shooting, like for his standards, and solid and good to great mid-range numbers. That still wouldn't move me because he's not really creating his shot as much as you would like for a 10 or even a 9.5 So I that's neither here nor there. So I'll give him a 9.
Yeah. That's actually why I wanted to push back on. I wanted him to be a 9. And I also wanted to say, I really have something against the fact that mobility is a part of the reason. I hate that, because if you sit here and tell me peak Shaq was never a 10, that is insane to me. I'm sorry. Peak Shaq,
but peak Shaq was mobile. Don't do that.
No.
That man can move.
No, Rodney. When I say mobility,
he could.
when I say mobility from when we're talking about scoring, I'm talking about what I basically changed it to was degree of difficulty. So like the way in which you're getting your shots, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Shaq, those players are being given the ball when in the post. So they're being set up, right? So if you're being set up and the main things that you have to focus on become that much easier because somebody is alleviating that pressure of you basically getting to your spot because you're already at your spot before you even get the ball, I cannot in my mind register that is still like as difficult as a Michael Jordan being double teamed and hassled by the Detroit Pistons.
Rodney, do you want to go?
But hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's still difficult because you still have a defender on your back. You have to either move him, unlike like Shaq, go through them. Shaq went through, but he still has some moves to him. Giannis doesn't have. Well, he was having post moves, but he doesn't have those no more. So that's why he don't get the ball in the post like he used to.
He never had it.
He had some, not a lot, but he had some, and he was working. We was hoping he would work to be better. He hadn't got to that.
Have?
But when you look at Jokic,
that was it.
When you look at Jokic, he's gonna give you a pump fake, a spin, another spin, half spin. Look up, what you doing over there? Come over here. He's gonna give you move after move until he get his bucket. He got those. You literally watched him do it to Anthony Davis. Did he not do that to Anthony Davis?
Oh, you're talking about Jokic?
Jokic. I said Jokic before I started the statement.
No, Jokic was taking difficult shots on Anthony Davis. He was not shimmying on him or Hakeem Olajuwon.
He
still. That's what. Okay, that's you know, if I had to give it 10, if I had to give it 10, I would give it to Shaq because of what he was in his first 3 years with the Lakers.
It's not first three, but you're talking about his repeat years.
I'm gonna give him Orlando all the way to LA.
He got there.
I was gonna say, did we forget what he was doing in Orlando too?
I'm giving him Orlando and LA. I cannot give it to him.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If Orlando is moving you, then Shaq should be in your top 5 when he got to the Lakers. Because what he turned into versus the defense that he was facing, he was toying with them. It didn't matter who he was going up against. You give him defensive player of the year quality centers, he was going through them. And he was toying with the players that wasn't defensive player of the year candidates.
He was still going through them in Orlando.
Toying with them in Orlando.
He was not okay. So to explain,
I think you guys are if you believe that Orlando Shaq is something similar to
then I don't know.
Lakers Shaq is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Lakers Shaq, the only person that was able to stop Lakers Shaq, lower his efficiency was Tim Duncan. That was the only person.
Which is why he's in my top 5.
Tim Duncan was the only player, and even then, it wasn't only Tim Duncan. It was Tim Duncan and David Robinson. But
so who slowed Shaq down? Who slowed Shaq down in Orlando? So who slowed him down when he was in Orlando?
Patrick Ewing did a solid job as well. David Robinson gave him hell too, didn't he? He never saw him in the finals, but David Robinson gave him hell.
They only play twice a year, so maybe that's not even really.
The problem is, all right. If you want me to go to like just strictly Eastern Conference, that's tough because there wasn't many centers for him to go up against at that time.
You just went and said basically dudes from the Western Conference.
Okay, and he faced dudes in the Western Conference. Okay, if we're talking about elite centers that he went up against, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. That's it. Who else do you want? You want what's the nigga that played for
Mark Eaton?
No, he played for Utah.
I thought he was gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was thinking that, but then I was like, no, he played for Utah. That was Western Conference again. Yeah, those are the only 2 players that he saw during his time in Orlando because it was a small amount of time that he was there. He was only there for 5 years. Yeah, like I don't know.
I think that Shaq wasn't as refined post.
I was gonna say Alonzo Mourning, but he torched Alonzo.
I think the Shaq.
Alonzo at the time Alonzo at the time that Shaq had came into form in Orlando, which was his last 2 years or his last 3 years. Alonzo was done, in my opinion. I thought he was done. I thought like not done from the standpoint if he wasn't the player he once was. I mean he just got into the league, but he was done from the standpoint of he was 6'11", 6'10". Shaq was 7'2", 300 pounds. Like I'm not like even in Tim Duncan's case, I didn't expect Tim Duncan to be able to do that as good of a job as he was able to do on Shaq. So when I found that out, I was like, oh shit. Like Tim Duncan's great defensively. He must be that good.
No, the thing is because Tim Duncan has the body and the power to actually stay with Shaq, and he's also one of the greatest like positional defenders we've ever seen. So that's the reason why, and he's quite fundamental. So he's not liable to actually foul Shaq. Shaq has to go through him, but he's actually has a strong base, so Shaq can't go through him. The thing I was gonna say about Shaq in the Lakers years is the fact that in the Lakers years, he mastered the ability to repost. So he's the type of person to try and like back down to get a few inches into the paint pause. Then when he realized that like it wasn't close enough, he would kick it back out. When he gets the ball, he'll kick it back out to the perimeter and then repost to the other side and try and back it down just to get even a few more inches closer to the rim. And then he could also get off his shots. His jump hook actually had quite a range. I want to say around to the 3-point line. Not 3-point line, the free throw line. He had hooks. He had that drop step that everyone knows of. He could repost. He had a lot in his arsenal. So when you said mobility, I still believe Shaq was quite mobile, even as a 3. Like,
but okay. Peep what you just says. So basically, he would try to outpower you to get you to the rim, right? To get you to the rim. And then once he realized that he could not be doing that, or he realized, damn, 3 seconds, let me kick it out and repost on the opposite side. Then he tried it again. And he would keep on trying it until it wasn't nothing left. And then he would kick it out to Kobe. And Kobe, hence why everybody said that Kobe was taking bad shots. Quiet as kept. The reason why he was taking those tough ass shots when he was playing with Shaq was because Shaq was putting him in tough positions afterwards. Not saying that wasn't the way to go, because Shaq is Shaq. Like that is an offensive weapon you have to go to first. But when he was giving the ball to Kobe, it was like 10 seconds left.
It would only be like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was like 10 seconds left on the clock. So Kobe had to act on it. So when we're talking scoring wise, like, no, you're absolutely right. At his peak, Shaq is like a 9.5. But to say he's a 10, again, it ain't that difficult for you to catch the ball on one side of the post, force your way into the paint, up 3 seconds, throw it to the other side, go to the other side.
Yeah, but I still would also argue the fact that he's tried to repost and get himself into the spots that are dangerous for the opponent, which is hard for him. So I still believe that that's still difficulty, because you're asking him to get closer to the rim to get better shots and so him constantly having to repost is also hard on him, because he's trying to get to certain spots that he's actually comfortable with to get his shots off. Yes, he's not doing it in the same way the wings and guards do it, because they can shot create, but that's his own way of shot creation, getting closer to the rim to get easier shots. So I guess it's just a difference in our philosophy.
I think that's the point that we disagree on. I think that's the part that we disagree on. I think that's the main thing. It's just basically how difficult is it in the manner in which Shaq was getting his points.
Physicality. I don't think when you look at the way Jokic does now and the way Shaq did it, Jokic looks more like a Hakeem Olajuwon with the moves that he's able to do. But Embiid would be more of a Shaq type of player. When you look at, I mean, don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of other moves.
Because Embiid is way more mid-range reliant now. But if you would say like Embiid 2 years ago, I'd agree with you.
Yeah, I'm not saying any year, because I don't think any year he's been what we expect him to be right now. Like we're still waiting.
He's still battling
not
injuries.
doing a lot of shit. He's still battling the same injury that he got when he was rookie. The hell up.
Y'all stop giving him leeway with that damn injury, because that injury does not explain for the flaws that he still hasn't developed. Your leg, all right, his leg injuries, you got shit to do with the fact that he still hasn't gotten better as a playmaker. We're not talking about Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
anyway.
I just realized we went on a
we're not even
tangent. We
talking
should go
about
back
I
to
didn't.
Y'all
I was
talking
just
about
I was
Shaq.
just comparing that dude.
We got 10 minutes left, and y'all are still talking about Shaq.
Yeah, exactly. I just got to scoring, rebounding. I think we can all agree.
Well,
that
you got 10 minutes, so
nigga, you know, do it. See, rebounding, Giannis and Jokic, I think we all agree that they're great rebounders.
Yeah.
I think that they're the same level. I think that they get theirs in different ways. I think Jokic is more in the paint, so he box out more. He has to box out more, whereas Giannis is more his tenacity for getting to the rim at any cost for him to be able to get the rebound. And they're both excellent offensive rebounders. Although, go ahead, Skip, I think Jokic is like a rebounding merchant, offensive rebounding merchant. I think he misses on purpose so that he can get his own rebound.
Oh god.
Oh wow.
We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk
He
about
does
that.
that
Kevin Love
I
moment.
agree with that. He does
Kevin
do that.
Love moment.
I mean, to get his triple
no,
double.
yeah, he pulled a Ricky Davis. That's what he did.
Yeah, I think he and to get his triple doubles, he does that every now and again. But we're not gonna talk about that. No, but just talking about from a rebound, from a talent wise, I think both of them on the same level. I gave them both an 8.5. Defense. Oh wait, does anybody disagree with that? We good?
8.5, I think. I think
8.5 for both of them.
I think they're high up when you put into context how the league is and how much 3-point shooting is. So it's harder for you to be more effective as a rebounder because the shots are coming out further out from the paint nowadays. So the fact that they're able to grab down 13 rebounds in the playoffs is insane. But if you think it's 8.5, fair enough to you. I think it's more 9.5.
Well, because I don't think that they have many. I don't think they have too much of competition. That's the thing that I look at. I don't think like when I take these into account, I look at also the people that they're doing it against in high leverage moments as well. And I don't think that they're going up against ultra, like great rebounders. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like if when it comes to Jokic, especially in this postseason, like you didn't see anybody that was just like a excellent rebounder that was matching up against him. Like DeAndre Ayton isn't a great rebounder.
The only real great rebounder that
Rudy Gobert,
like Gobert, because
once you bring Rudy Gobert out, basically now I won't say you eliminate him from being able to do it, but even if you missed it, he's behind you, so it makes it easier for you to be able to box him and get the ball back. So that's my reasoning. I think defense is next. I think Jokic is above average. People make it seem like he's a terrible defender. I think he made a lot of strides this year. I think he became. Oh, I don't say I think he became, because I think he got better at it last season, but this season and during the postseason, I think he showcased how much better he is on drop coverage. How smarter he is in drop coverages. His hands were active. To say the least. He was put into multiple actions, and he was able to react for what you would think he would at a very great rate. Like you couldn't ask him to do much better, considering he's not that athletic and his lateral quickness is not that quick. Whereas considering that, I still think that he is terrible in the perimeter. I think that he is when attacked around the rim, I think he has no rim protection whatsoever. I think his hands, although being active in the passing lanes, I think he gambles a little too often, and it costs him. So I gave him a 5.5, but I'm willing to go for a 6. I gave Giannis an 8.5. I think the fact that him as a roamer, how impactful it is, especially over the last couple of years, given how many injuries the Bucks have been dealing with, and yet he's still, mainly because of him and Drew Holiday, have been able to keep this team afloat and not just being like an above average defense, but being like a top 3 defense routinely, I think that is like that speaks a lot to his defensive impact. I also think that his rim protection is, albeit a little overrated, I think it's definitely higher than Jokic's. I think his defense on the perimeter is a little bit underrated, because he's gotten cooked a few times from the likes of, great offensive, players like Trae Young and Jimmy Butler and stuff like that. I think that people have made it seem like Giannis he does not post any value as a perimeter defender. And I think that is false. I think that he's very valuable there. I think it's just, that's not where you want him to hang his hat on. So I gave him an 8.5, but I'm willing to go for 8 for him. Did anybody have any disagreements there?
No, not really.
Rodney? Daryl? Okay.
No, I don't got nothing.
Okay. Playmaking. I think this is probably going to be the easiest one. Giannis, I give a 7.5. I think he is a very good passer when putting rim pressure and forcing the defense to close in so that he can be able to kick it out specifically to the corner. That being said, I think when he catches the ball at the top of the key, I think that is when he's at his worst. And he has yet to develop that. He's been doing that since Bud joined in 2019, and he still has not been able to create very well in anything outside of passing to the corner when actually successfully getting to the rim. So if you go up against a team like the Miami Heat who can force a wall on him, or you go up against the Toronto Raptors who can also force a wall with Pascal and Boucher in them and OG Anunoby, it becomes significantly harder, and Giannis fails very often, alarmingly sometimes, for him to make the correct pass. He does it, and then he doesn't do it. Whereas other teams, he's able to do it like far more consistent. So I want to just leave it at when he goes against high leverage moments against elite defenses, he's not able to capitalize the way that you would like him to. That being said, Jokic, on the other hand, this is the greatest playmaker that we have ever seen. It's not like a secret. I think he is
the greatest. Crazy.
I think, not the greatest. I think he is top 5, or he's creeping on top 5. I have him at 6 right now. I'm just waiting for a second for me to put him there. What?
Huh?
What is Rodney doing?
It's a 10. I don't know why we're having this conversation. It's a damn 10. You can't count. 10, move.
Anyway, can I explain to the audience why he's a 10?
No, he is explaining it. He definitely is.
You know what I'm saying? Like Rodney's not like Rodney's. Jokic is a 10 playmaking because he's able to pass in basically any way that you need him to. You put him in tough positions, double teaming him, he makes you pay that way. You leave Aroma around, he's able to capitalize on the dunker spot. He's very good at throwing alley-oops. On a simpler term, he can throw it all over the court. So that's it. Then we get to finishing, and again, I think this was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I think Jokic is a 9 because of what we talked about earlier. I think his finishing skills is close.
Specifically, his touch is probably like second to none.
Yeah, it's second. Well, I think him and Giannis, when it comes to touch around the rim, although Giannis gets it a little more with barrel into the rim, so he does more contact before he even gets to the rim. I think Jokic, he deals with contact as well, and some of the shots that I saw him do this season specifically, and even last season when he won MVP. He was able to deal with double teams very frequently and even get across and still get his shot off. Very quality shots, and he can finish. Giannis, I gave a 9.5 because I think he has top 3 currently because he's in this prime. He has a top 3 all-time touch, only behind Shaq and LeBron. I think that really self-explains itself. So, when I totaled all of that out, Giannis is a 41.5, Jokic is a 41.5. So it really comes down to who you prefer. Me personally, I prefer Giannis because I think the defensive impact that he gives is a little more. impactful than Jokic. But if you're more offensive, if you lean more offensively, then I don't think it should be anything wrong with saying that Jokic is there. So I mean, they're both 1 and 2. So
yeah.
So we basically so basically what I'm hearing you say is it's even.
What I'm basically saying is
That's
I have
basically what you
Giannis
did.
above you. I have Giannis above Jokic, but if you came to me and you said that you have Jokic over Giannis, I would not give you much of a fight.
So
It's
you
interchangeable.
should
I
just say
agree.
that they're even.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Oh, guess what? Facts, man.
Oh wow. Oh
Oh
wow.
my god.
Facts, man. We got to chat, bro. We got to chatter.
But
Gotta chat.
anyways, along the
Appreciate you,
lines.
Desto.
So
Yeah. Much love.
thanks,
much
bro.
love.
Anyways, along the lines.
Mhm.
So we can all agree towards the end of this that they're even, but it doesn't matter which way you choose. You can't be mad at the other for what they
Yeah.
do.
Facts.
We're down at the last. This is the end of our show, y'all. The RJD Podcast. Fellas, next Sunday, same time, same place, where we'll be talking about the Chicago Bulls. That's the next team, I believe, correct?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Please just give us.
This is gonna be a little. This is gonna be a
What
little.
I want to say is, can they just like get rid of their guards? Like they don't need them anymore, man.
We're not. Look,
Many
we're
teams would
Yeah.
not saying a word. We're not saying a
Love him.
word until next Sunday. Okay. We're not saying a word. Yeah. Feel free to tune in, man. But
Feel free to tune in. We'll be here next Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, we out of here.
In a bit.
But man, I tell you.